Hey everybody, so today we're going over the very first problem in the 2009 NACLO. I personally have not seen the problem, and if you haven't either, make sure to pause the video, read the problem statement, and I'll do the same and we'll jump right into it. Awesome. So it looks like we're dealing with braille in Japanese. They call it Tenji, and then the large dots represent the raised bumps, the tiny dots represent empty positions. So we're given 6 words here. All of these 6 words, and then we need to figure out, we need to match them. So which of these dots represent which characters? And when it says we don't need to neither know Japanese or Braille to figure out, apparently with just the clue that we're given here, that karaoke can be written in this sense, we'll be able to match the 6 words. Okay, let's see how to do this, because it seems like we're not given many clues at all. So how are we supposed to figure this out? But that being said, let's start with what we do have. We know that this word can be written in these dots. And what it looks like to me, especially combined with the way that these other mystery words are written, it seems like they're all in components of these 6 blocks here. So one of these like 3x2s is one component. It looks like every word is some combination of these blocks. So with this first hint we have, I'm seeing 4 blocks. So right away I'm thinking, how would we divide karaoke into 4 blocks? Because if it was letter by letter, there should be 7, right? But that clearly isn't the case. And what I also notice is that they're all different. So like, you have these 2 dots here in the first block, right? So 1, 2, and none of the other 3 match that. So if I was thinking it was by letters, I know there's 2 Ks in karaoke, but that doesn't make sense because nothing matches here. So I wonder how we could break up the word instead. Now right away, maybe we can start thinking about other ways we know to break up words. So we can do it by letters, but that's not that logical because, I don't know, we can say cough is one syllable, but like the word but is one syllable, but it has a lot less letters. So I'm thinking about the ideas of syllables here because that's another unit that we can use to divide the word. So again, this isn't English, so we should try not to think about it too much in English karaoke and just look at the word we're given. So if we want to divide it into 4 components, maybe we can do it by syllable. But how exactly will we do the syllables? The first thing that comes to mind is noticing that there's 4 vowels. So maybe each syllable component in Japanese has exactly 1 vowel. So something like ka, ra, o, ke. That's 4. And it might sound like I just pulled this breakdown out of nowhere, but try some other ways to split this into 4 components. And there's not that many that make sense unless maybe some of the components would have just a consonant, but that sounds a little weird if I just did the k and then ad or something like that. Karaoke, that feels pretty logical in this sense. Okay, so with this first clue then, we've done it into 4 components. I'm going to put this as kara-o. I'm going to change the colors a little so it's easier to break down. Kara, and then o. And in general, a great strategy for NACLO problems is to try to bring a lot of colorful pens so you can, match words to symbols, that sort of thing. All right, so now looking at our mystery words, let's see if we can break them down similarly into these components. And right away, I'm feeling like this breakdown is a good, we're on the right path because, kimono, I think that pretty clearly has 3 syllables, kimono, and there are some options with three blocks, and all of these words seem to match up as well. For example, I think in English you might say koi. This one right here is 1 syllable, but there's 2 components. The lowest number of blocks that any of these mystery answers has is 2, and given that we had a component that was just a vowel, this o right here, this makes me think that koi can be divided into ko and then i. So right away I'm thinking, for example, that koi would have to be either B or E. Okay, that was a lot of rambling, but let's try to do this in an organized fashion. So given the clue that we have already, we know that ka looks like the top left dot and the bottom right dot. So, I mean, I see this mystery word katana has a ka in the front. So let's look for another word or another mystery word here that has the same symbol in the front. And right away I can see it's this one in C. So no other answer has that in the front. So right away I want to guess that C is katana. And there's really no other way I can be sure, but I mean, the evidence is pretty convincing given that the ka's match up. But what's nice about this is that it also gives us two more blocks. We now have ta and na. So we can, it's sort of just a chain from here on out. We have, I mean, looking at this ta, I know that atari right here, atari has a ta in the middle. So let's see any other words that has this exact ta in the middle. And again, I'm thinking that atari we can do in 3 blocks. So that's a logical way to break it into 3 symbols. And looking at F here, I can see that the ta matches up. So this ta looks the exact same as the one over here. And it makes sense too, because ta, if we break it down into atari, we would get the middle one right here. So my guess is that this one is atari. And again, this gives me 2 more blocks, a and d, for free. And then we can keep going. So we've already figured out atari and katana. Okay, let's see what else we might know. Maybe we can keep trying to break down the words. So the remaining words, haiku, I'm thinking, you know, in English, I think a haiku, you would say haiku. But again, given that we've been breaking up the vowels individually too, like in karaoke here, in the beginning of atari right there, haiku, I'm thinking that would be like ha, I, and ku, right? So koi we already did right here, ko and I. Kimono would probably be like this. Sake, I think, would also be pretty straightforwardly sa and ke. And if you look at the remaining mystery words we have, 2 of them, E and B, have 2 components, while 2 of them, A and D, have 3 components. And based on this distribution here, we can see that this is our 3 component ones, and those are 2 component ones. And it seems to be way too much of a coincidence. Just we made up a random way to break them up and it matches up. I got lucky in this case that everything seems to check out, but you know, say for example, while you're taking the test, maybe you thought that you should break haiku into 2 syllables, hai and ku, or koi into just 1, ko and I. As I mentioned earlier, koi would just be 1 component, and clearly no answer gives us that. So you're sort of using the answers to tell you what guesses are right and what guesses are wrong. And then, you know, if we had correctly identified that koi is 2, but haiku would also be 2, again, that doesn't line up because only 2 of the answers, B and E, have 2 components. Okay, so we can be confident that haiku, needs to be 3 components, and we can keep it going here. Okay, so what do we have that matches up? Well, actually, for the ke from karaoke, which it seems to be more pronounced like karaoke, we have the ke here and the ke in sake. So I want to look for another word that ends with the exact same block here. And looking at B, we have it. These 2 match right up. So my guess is that B is sake. And then again, that gives us sa for free. Sake. All right. And then without even looking, we can tell that I is our last 2 component word, which would be koi. Alrighty. And that gives us ko and I. So a good habit is to try to double check your answers. Right now, the first thought I had in mind was, are there any words that had ko or any other words that had I in it? Unfortunately not, but if there were, then you could match them up. But in our case, we can now use I for the I in haiku. So I'm looking for this block in the middle of a 3-component word. And it looks like an A right here. It matches exactly. So my guess is that this is haiku. All right. Oh, that yellow is not showing up. Okay, we're just going to use orange again here. All right, haiku. And then again, that gives us ha for free as well as ku. And finally, we should get kimono for our last one. So again, I think all of these syllables are unique. So there's no other word that uses ki, mo, or no. So we can't check it with anything to be sure. But based on our process of elimination, it seems to be the only possible answer. Cool. So we filled in all of our mystery words. And right now, we need to guess in A2 what are the following words. So let's see, we have the top left and the bottom right. That looks exactly like our ka over here from the beginning in karaoke. So right now this is ka. And then we have top left, middle right. I'm scanning to see where we have that. Top left, middle right would be, I'm not finding it anywhere. Oh, we have ra right here. So it's the same as in karaoke. And then finally we have all the dots except for the bottom right. Where is that one? I'm not seeing it actually. Ooh. Am I missing it or? Okay, maybe there's some more going on. Hold on, we're actually stuck here. Okay, then maybe there's some more going on and we can figure out how to find the last component. Right away, maybe we can find some commonalities between the dots themselves. Maybe there's a pattern with how those work. For example, I see that I know in English that we write with 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and in Japanese here, it seems to be using the same 5 vowels. They're at least written, right? Obviously, that's not to say that English has only 5 vowels, because that's not true. But for example, we have ka from karaoke, which has the top left and the bottom right. And then we also have ki, which was the top left. Wait, this is going to get confusing. Okay, I'm just going to ignore the empty dots and hope that we don't get confused that way. Okay, so ki looks like this. Ku is like this. Ke, we have, and I'm just looking to see if there's any commonalities between all the K syllables, because we happen to have kaki, ku, ke, ko, every single one. So ko we got from koi, and it doesn't seem like there's a pattern. This is tricky. Maybe we can compare this with just the vowels. So ka has K and A, right? And we actually do have a. So a was an atari, and it's just the top left. Okay, so that's fine. Ki, do we have just I? Oh yes, in haiku. And then we have the bottom two. Oh, okay. This is, so right away my guess is that, given our vowels, I, what turning a into ka would be adding this bottom right dot, because that holds for ka and ki. So for ku, I'm assuming that u would be something like just the top two, because you would have to add the bottom right. Yeah, all the kaki, ku, ke, ko, they all have this bottom right dot. So maybe the bottom right dot represents the K. Okay, so let's make sure this is true. Do we have an U? I don't think we have an U. Okay, that's unfortunate. That's our guess for U, but do we have an E? We do not. But we have an O from karaoke. And okay, actually that still holds. So in karaoke, we have that this is O. And then again, those are confirmed. And then our guess for E, oops, that's yellow. Our guess for it would be something like this. Because again, our hypothesis is that to turn a vowel, just a vowel, a, I, U, E, O, into kaki, ku, ke, ko, you have to add this bottom right dot. So that's our hypothesis. Okay. And again, u and e are just guesses. So using that, how can we figure out what this one here is? I think we should start with looking at which vowels could it be. Actually, that might be quite complicated. I'm wondering if, because all the vowels stay in just the top 4 dots in the 6 dots, like all the vowels can be expressed just in this box, or actually really just with the top 3 dots right here. So I'm wondering if the bottom 3 dots are what decides the consonant. Okay, so let's look at sa here. So sa has this a, and then I'm assuming that sa, the s, would be represented like this. And then, yeah, that does stay in the bottom 3 dots. Okay. What about the ha in haiku? So ha has the A component in the top left, which is great. And then it seems like H would be the bottom 2 right here. Okay, so it seems like we need to make a key for all the consonants as well. So I think to make things simple, I'm just going to go through every single one in the problem. But obviously, if you're pressed for time during the actual test, just get only the ones you need and move on with your life. So we'll be doing ka, we know is just the bottom right so far. And then we discussed that sa was the bottom 2 over here. And then ha, we just did, is these bottom 2. Okay, top and bottom are not good words to describe these, fine. Okay. Again, our hypothesis was that the vowels are in the top 3 right here. Vowels, while the consonants are in the bottom half. So like right here, consonants. And again, that's still holding true so far. So let's look at kimono. So mo, both of them have the O components, and it seems like M would just be the bottom 2 again. Oh no, sorry, all 3. Right, can't be just the bottom 2 because that would be the H. So M, we have that, and then the N seems to be, it has the O right here, and it's just the bottom left that adds the N. Okay. What other consonants do we have? We've hit H, K. Oh, we have to do the R. So A is the top left, and it seems like the R is just the middle right. Okay, and then what else? Also the ta. So again, A is the top left, and the T is the diagonal. So middle right and bottom left. Okay. So do any of these overlap? It doesn't seem so. So it seems like a valid key so far, and maybe we can use this to try to figure out what our remaining word is. Okay, so that threw us in for quite a curveball. I thought we were free after getting the first problem pretty quickly, but it took a lot more deduction skills to get this last character. Okay, so we have these 3 in the top left. Right, so that's our vowel, which matches with e, and then the consonant, which is the middle right and the bottom left, matches with the T here. So you have karate, which we know is a Japanese word, which is fantastic. So karate, cool. So we figured that out, and maybe if you were pressed on time, you didn't figure out all of these this key right here. If you could have thought of other Japanese words that started with kara, maybe you would have just guessed karate out of the blue. So that's also great. Moving on to H, we have that this is just A. So that one just matches right here, which is great. But this looks really interesting actually. It's a line straight down. So again, we know that this section right here determines our vowel, which is E, So it's something i, and then our consonant is just the bottom left. So right here, ni. So ani, and then all of the dots. So the consonant that has all of the dots is m right here, and the vowel that has all the dots is e. So anime, which we also know is definitely Japanese as well. Cool. So looks like, again, we could double check our answers, but with our key, nothing seems immediately wrong, and the words that we got definitely look correct as well. Okay, and then now we move on to doing these the other way. So we are given the transcription and we want to write it in Tenji. Okay, I'm going to do it in the top left corner here. So let's start off with samurai. So we're breaking it down in the same way that we have been. So samurai. And then sa we can actually take from sake, so it's the exact same component. Sa, save us some time there. Mu, it seems like we don't have, but again, we just use our key now. So m is the bottom 3. U we have is the top 2 right here. So u. And then da, do we have? Yeah, in karate. So that's going to be just those 2. But again, it's really not that much slower if we just use our key. It's a great way to double check as well, to see if we missed anything. And then E is quite simple. We just have to only worry about the vowel, which is the bottom, the left 2 right there. Okay, so that's samurai. And then finally miso. So mi and so. So miso, mi, I don't think we have, but again, just we have the 3 dots for and then these 2 for e. So e. Okay, and then finally, so is, I don't think we have, but just take the right 2 right here for s, and then o is the diagonal 2. And voila, we have our transcriptions for these 2 words. And that's the whole problem. So hopefully you were able to do it along the way as well. Hopefully everything made sense.